Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Records and Rants. My name is Ice. We're going to get right into the show today. With me, as always, is Dixon. How are you?
Ice, great to be back here. Second show of 2023. They say that consistency is everything, and so far we're on a good streak.
That's right. That's right. I think our last couple videos are now in, sequential hundreds now. We're getting hundreds of views per video, which is really nice. We're actually up to 19 subscribers now. As I just look live right now, up to 19 subscribers.
19 subscribers. Shout out to the 19, because we were going back and forth there between 16, 17. Somebody dropped off. Now we're back up to 19, so that's great. Thanks for joining us. This is awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And I want to give a huge shout out.
Yes.
Rich Lee, if you're listening, we love you. We really appreciate your comments on the Bob Dylan discussion.
Yes,
it was fantastic, and a nice correction against Dixon there about the Pawn Stars incident. We'll call it.
that really pissed me off that I missed that. Shout out to Rich for correcting us. So previously, I had reported that the clip on Pawn Stars with Bob Dylan, where Chumley has Bob Dylan sign a vinyl album, which is huge because Dylan doesn't sign everything.
Yeah.
And nor does he seem like he's approachable. But in that clip, he's like pretty friendly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I thought he signed a copy of Empire Burlesque, but he actually signed a copy of Self Portrait, which is just in the same plane as Empire Burlesque. If you're going to get something signed by Bob Dylan,
yeah,
one of those albums you wouldn't want to do. Also, another correction from our last video, the Rolling Stone list of 200 greatest singers, from a guy named Ottawa Now. He said that Barry White is on the list. Barry White is on the list. He's at number 56. I didn't think I saw Barry White on the list, but he's just above Brian Wilson at 56.
Yeah. Yes. So we appreciate it. We take all comments. We take all criticism. Yeah. We love it. So again, shout out to you guys. Really, honestly, we really do appreciate it. I know it sounds like I'm goofing and gaffing right now, but we really do appreciate it.
It's true, though. We absolutely do. And he also said, well, actually, a guy named Roof Pizza commented on our video, which I'm sure the tech team will link somewhere here. So smash that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That view button. He said this list is so bad, it's like they are looking for controversy, which is true.
Yeah, no, I think he's right with that. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, absolutely. But Ottawa Now also said, "Where the hell is Peter Cetera?" This guy, he makes a really good point. Peter Cetera was the lead vocalist for Chicago. Like, he founded Chicago, and then he went on to have a solo career. I think Chicago's been a band that's kind of underrated, and I don't think they get as much credit as they deserve. But yeah, Peter Cetera would have been a good solid entry onto the list, because he kind of made Chicago's signature sounds and vocal arrangements. So yeah, definitely good looking out on Ottawa Now to not include Peter Cetera on that list. So another possible glaring omission.
Speaking of Chicago, it's funny that he said that, because I remember I bought when I was on my buying spree for vinyls. Now I buy them like every now and then, but when I first got my record player, I was buying a bunch, and I got this like mystery box, right? And it was like $30 for 15 random records that this guy had from his collection, and one of them was Chicago. Nice. Yeah, and I would agree. I would say they are quite underrated. The one that I got was Chicago 6, Chicago V1. I don't know if you know anything about that, but I listened to a little bit. Yeah, it was. I'm sorry, Chicago 10. That was a glaring mistake. I apologize. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, I know. Yeah, sorry, big mistake. Someone's gonna correct us on that, dude. You actually got Chicago 10 when you said Chicago. How do you know what records I got?
Yeah, really. Enough is enough already.
No, but
that's cool.
But yeah, no, it was it was neat. But yeah, no, I would agree with you on that. But today, I guess, do you want to tell the folks what we're talking about? Because I am so excited. I am revved up to get into this. I really am, and I got so much to say.
I'm excited too, and what we're going to be talking about this is a video that was inspired by our previous video about the 200 greatest singers of all time from Rolling Stone, because we talked about number 166, Morrissey.
Yeah.
So, Ice has been a little bit familiar with the Smiths stuff. from the movie 500 Days of Summer, and I said, that would be a pretty cool band to kind of check out, because you could see some of their influences in modern music, and actually some of the stuff we listened to on this show previously, which I'll mention. So Ice was tasked with listening to, I think, a few songs from the Smiths and a couple Morrissey solo tracks. And he texted me BTS, and he said, boy, have a lot to say about this stuff. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Oh, yeah. No, I really do. I guess I like to give a rundown. We like to give a rundown of the list of like what you give me, just so everyone understands like what plane we're on. So
right.
Here's the name of the songs. I think it was probably about like 6 of them. Here's the songs that Dixon gave me. There is a light that never goes out. Stop me if you think you've heard this one before.
I love that song.
How Soon Is Now.
Oh, another good one.
The Charming Man.
This Charming Man.
I'm sorry. Yeah. This Charming Man. Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now.
Another good one.
Suede Head.
Okay.
And the last, but not very far from least, I Am Not a Dog on a Chain.
Awesome. Yeah. So that gives you kind of a flavor of the Smiths, and also 2 tracks from Morrissey's solo career. Suede Head came out right after they had kind of split. And then Morrissey, that was, I think, his latest release in 2020. I Am Not a Dog on a Chain. So excited to hear what you have to say.
The fact that you say that Suede Head happened when when they split up, that makes a lot of sense, because that was one of the few in there where it kind of felt like a different vibe. Maybe not necessarily a different vibe, but it felt a little different. But yeah, so I'm going to start off by saying we said that Morrissey, he was on the list of top singers on Rolling Stone, right?
Yes.
After listening to this selection that you gave me, I 100%, million percent even agree with that. This experience, listening to these songs, I was thinking about it. I would liken it to when I listened to the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon.
Really?
It was
it was going way back.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a throwback for our longtime fans. But that might have been that was our first episode, I think.
One of the first ones, definitely. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, like this. Listening to him and this band was an emotional experience that I don't think any other band has made me feel, like I said, since Pink Floyd.
It's amazing that you say that.
It was, yeah.
It's amazing, because I mentioned before that, I think on the last episode, when people see, mostly ladies, when they see Morrissey live, it's like this religious awakening. They're, like they said, they're grabbing at him. They're trying to get him on stage. They want to touch him. They're throwing roses. People are breaking down in tears. It's like a religious experience almost. I completely get that. One way that I describe this and his voice and the melodies and everything, I kept saying this. It's hauntingly beautiful. Wow.
In a way.
Yes.
And oh man, it's honestly kind of hard to put into words. I know I'm gushing over this guy right now, but my God, it was amazing. And it's funny because you said that it's like a religious experience, especially for these women that go to these shows.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I understand it more than any other singer that that girls follow around, but I get this guy. I get why there's an attraction to him. His the vocals. Even the cadence of the lyrics and the lyrics themselves, they're just everything is so spot on. So it's there, and it's like poetic, and it's art, and it's amazing. It really is. Wow. Morrissey is amazing. I'm just gonna say that. This is Dixon. I have to say, hands down, this is my favorite list to listen to, and I am 100% going to buy an album, a record by them, 1,000,000%.
That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that.
Did you expect that?
I'm shocked, and I'm shocked, and I'll tell you why. One of the reasons why I'm shocked, I think, because when you listen to the National, you suggested that the National made one of the worst albums of all time.
Yeah, I did.
Trouble will find me, right?
Yeah.
The guy who sings, Matt Berringer, he's a baritone too.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. The National, I mean, with the exception of their music, the Smiths and Morrissey do a really good job of making what Rolling Stone describes as teen misery. They make like teen misery like fun and bubbly,
yes.
And this British pop kind of deal going on.
Oh my God, that's such a good way to describe it. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but that's a perfect way to describe it. Yeah,
you're right. The National are just doing what the Smiths did 20 years later, but keeping it miserable the whole time.
Yeah,
which is incredible. Which is incredible that you said, because bands like the National, Oasis, you can see Vampire Weekend, Arcade Fire,
yes,
even a little bit of Def Cab in there, like how they became influenced by the Smiths and went from there. And from what I can see, when it's presented a certain way, you really like that.
No, yeah, yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It all has to come together. I would say, oh, man, this is gonna sound so harsh, but the Nationals, like, discount bargain bin, bum rack, Morrissey. That's
That's pretty good. That's really good.
And I'm sorry, I hate to sound so mean, but I think more like the Smiths and Morrissey have a way of taking that emotion, but making you want to listen to it at the same time. Right. And I think that's really hard to do, to make a song emotional that doesn't make you want to, like, die. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, it's very true. That's very true.
It doesn't make me want to jump off the top of my house in Minecraft. You know, it made me feel emotions, but I was like, I got to listen to this again. I wasn't a totally depressed, like, slug listening to it.
Right. Well, that's cool to hear. Good.
Yeah, no, it was quite an experience, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you, BTS. Well, maybe we could talk about it on the show too. Which album I should purchase from them? Which do you think I would like based on the selection of songs that you gave? Yeah,
I have to look and see, because they only had a few. Let me pull it up. I had this dialed up.
Sure.
They had. Let's see here. They had a very short career. In Johnny Marr, who played guitar, and Morrissey started the Smiths. They didn't get along for whatever reasons. Yeah, they only have 4 albums. The Smiths in 1984, Meat is Murder in 1985, The Queen is Dead 1986, Strange Ways, Here We Come 87. And they broke up, and they haven't reunited, and they have no interest in reuniting. And
wow.
Just kind of one off. But like you said, what was neat about the Smiths too is, if you look at some of them have the videos attached to their songs, they're like pretty like subdued, like in terms of visuals. Like Morrissey has the big tall hair. Yeah. But they're basically wearing t-shirts, kind of that grubby British working class kind of vibe they put out without knowing anything about the working class British vibe.
Yeah,
you can see that's kind of how it makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And Morrissey was very interested in and influenced by like glam bands, the New York Dolls, some punk stuff that are pretty over the top, which is kind of interesting when you listen to his writing in the music that Marr kind of put to it. Yeah. So the ultimate product, like I said, it's really, really quality. And they, like I said, they've had a resurgence probably the last 10 years. That do you remember Tumblr? The Smiths were like a big thing on Tumblr for a while. Mm-hmm. And I think it was all thanks to that movie 500 Days of Summer with Zooey Deschanel, another friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show, Zoe. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You
Zoe, call me back.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where you're at.
We sent you our video. I'm not sure if you liked it.
We should just start posting our stuff on Twitter and tag like the like the bands we're talking about. Hey, Morris, check this out, please.
Morrissey is an interesting enough personality that he might actually respond or have something to say.
That would honestly be amazing. But yeah, no, Morrissey and Kanye West, I feel like, are the only people that would actually like come on our show. Eccentric enough to do it.
It's true, and it's so funny because Morrissey has a really interesting social and personal sort of experience. I was mentioning before, he's been a vegetarian since 2011. Or excuse me, since he was 11.
Oh wow, and that's very impressive.
Yeah, in 2015, he said he's a vegan. So very outspoken about the meat trade. Has called people subspecies, subhuman if they treat animals poorly. He canceled a show just recently in Iceland because they refused to modify the menu of the venue.
Really?
Or to remove meat products. And then he played the Staples Center in Los Angeles. I think it was in 2013. And Paul McCartney, I guess, does this too. When he has a venue, he wants them to be vegetarian or vegan. And they didn't do it for McCartney, but they did it for Morrissey. So he was able to play at the Staples Center.
Oh, that's saying something. Yeah. Now, Morrissey got more pull than Paul McCartney. That's insane.
It is. It's huge. And so he's always been critical of the royal family. Um, and he's been lately, like in the last couple of years, he was a big supporter of Brexit, like the um, British withdrawing from the European Union.
Yep.
Big fan of Nigel Farage, who was like their Trump-esque figure
Yeah.
over in England.
Yep.
And he said, like, he's he has comments about the refugees and immigration in England and the strong national identity that the British should be proud of, that they should protect. But he's like, he stays in his own lane. Like, you see a lot of these guys, like, for example, Kanye West.
Sure.
You had those people on the conservative side or the Republican side that were like, oh yeah, Kanye is one of us. Kanye is pro-life, and they kind of embraced Kanye and pushed Kanye's ideals. Morrissey doesn't do that. Like, he hated Donald Trump. He's not a fan of George W. Bush. Like, stays in his lane, has his own ideas, and just goes from there, So yeah, so he's gotten into some hot water with some of this stuff.
I could honestly respect that. I mean,
yeah,
it kind of sucks that it's like, oh well, if you like this person, then you're a racist or what whatever people say. But he likes Nigel Farage, and then he doesn't like Trump. I mean, that just goes to show you that he's a free thinker. And it's funny because I actually saw a comment that said there was a guy on, I think it was the last song that you sent me, I'm Not a Dog on a Chain. And the guy said, I can't believe I've never heard this before. Like, this is brilliant. This is amazing. Who is this guy? And the guy said, and this is what started me thinking. And he's like, this is Morrissey, the Smiths. And it's like, don't listen to what anyone critical says about him just because he supported Brexit and all this stuff. They're all just salty about that. If anyone says anything bad about him, it's just because of that. Which, and then I'm like, okay, now what you just said makes a lot of sense. I could see people saying, oh, Morrissey sucks just because he has different views.
Right, yeah. And that's the thing about Morrissey. Morrissey is one of the true artists that says, okay, like free speech in all aspects. This is what I believe. Yeah. You're what you believe is absolutely terrible. He's almost like borderline like a narcissist kind of thing. And but true to what he stands for, what he's into. But like, okay, he's not going to reject he's not going to say you're wrong for believing that. He's totally in his lane and kind of doing his thing, except for when it comes to the animal world. He's very, very, takes a hard stance on that kind of stuff. But definitely one of the few people that's totally a free thinker, I think, really endorses free speech on all levels.
I think that's awesome. Because honestly, how many artists, how many influential people do you see that actually speak their mind? I feel like a lot of people really kind of go in their own bubble, and they stick to what's popular, and they won't speak out of turn and say something that might be controversial because they're scared. So I could certainly respect someone like this who actually like speaks their mind. He sounds like he's kind of got a crazy combination of things. Like, he sounds conservative, but at the same time he's vegan, and he hates people who eat meat and stuff like that. I mean, I might not agree with that, but I mean, it is what it is. It's I mean, the guy's Morrissey. I mean, come on.
It's so funny. It's funny because I used to I have a Morrissey T-shirt I'll wear on occasion because I've been a Morrissey fan for a while, and one of my friends, he's an older guy, older than us by a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what's with the Morrissey T-shirt? Like, what's up with the Morrissey stuff? And I'm like, oh, it's Morrissey. Like we just said, it's Morrissey. Like, that's what he does. He's like, oh, like, I don't get it. I'm like, I don't expect you to get it, I guess, unless you're like really into that their music and stuff. And he's like, oh, okay. But like you said, he's like, oh, he's Morrissey. That's it.
Yeah, no,
that's all the answer you need to give.
Yeah, that's all you have to give. He I could just tell just from the vocals and the singing, and he writes all these songs, if I'm correct. I think he writes it with someone else too, right? There's when they were in the Smiths, it was
Smiths,
him
yeah. Johnny Marr. Yeah, Johnny Marr.
Sorry, yeah.
Who still is around, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, just the lyrics alone from what he writes, they're so, I don't know, it just pulls emotion out of you. It makes you think. It's just it all seems to have a message, and you're not wasting any time listening to the lyrics. You know what I'm trying to get across? Everything means something, I guess.
Right. No, 100%. I think the song There's a Light That Never Goes Out is like the ultimate teen anguish. Like the ultimate, like you're like you're pissed at your parents riding around, and it's like, I don't give a shit if I die tonight. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that's kind of what's cool about it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm coming out right now. I'm saying it right now. It made me well up a little bit thinking about this, because The line that he said, I have it written down here. To die by your side is such a heavenly way to die. I mean, come on.
You're
how,
right.
how,
You're
how,
right.
how amazing. And I was like, and I always try to put myself into like maybe where their headspace was when they were writing this. And I started thinking about like people I really care about, like if I died next to them, and it would be okay. Whatever happens. And he's describing all these brutal ways to die, like a 10-ton truck hitting you, and he's just like, it'd be fine because I'm by your side, whatever, I could die, but I'm with you. And I'm like, man, that is, I don't know, that really hits me deep, I guess, because when I was thinking about people I care about, like you, Dixon, or my fiance or something.
Wow. Yeah.
If we went away in a blaze of glory for whatever reason, in a freak accident, it'd be okay.
Wouldn't be that bad. Wouldn't be that
Yeah,
bad.
wouldn't be that bad.
No, I get it. And that's what I think he's saying. I think he's one of these guys that like kind of really actually believes that,
Yeah, no, I totally think so. And that was the first song I listened to, and as soon as I heard that song, I'm like, man, I'm in for a treat. I just knew from right there, from that line right there, that song. I'm like, man, this is going to be quite a ride.
Mm-hmm. 100%, definitely. And I'm glad you have that stance, because the Smiths are one of those bands that I think that you have to listen to like just a little bit. That's like I wanted to give you a flavor, like
sure,
because you have an idea, like when listening to the Smiths, the things that you hear in modern day, Oasis from the '90s, Blur, you could see how those bands definitely have a direct line from the Smiths, and the fact that they like burned out so quickly really kind of makes it like kind of sucks, that they don't have more music and they're not still around, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so it's like one of those bands that you got to experience. Yeah.
Would you say like bands like Vampire Weekend? I would say they were probably influenced by the Smiths.
Yeah. Vampire Weekend, I think Arcade Fire.
Arcade Fire too.
Definitely, 100%. Like when you had like Oasis in the '90s was like, oh, they're going to be bigger than the Beatles, the next Beatles, and they broke up pretty quick too.
Yeah.
And Noel Gallagher, or the other Gallagher, whichever Gallagher it was, had those like kind of round glasses like John Lennon, but it was kind of like I think a direct correlation from the Smiths stuff, where Morrissey used to wear those big thick glasses too, just to kind of make a statement or whatever. But you can definitely see a line there, like I said, from a lot of the stuff that some of the stuff we've talked about on the show and a lot of stuff we've listened to previously. You can see there's a definitely influence there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I was thinking about that too while I was listening to this. I'm like, man, this band was so influential that it inspired a lot of modern music that we listen to today, which was pretty cool. Now out of this list, do you have any favorites that are like, because I know my favorite, hands down. Actually, a lot of these are great, but I have a favorite. I guess I could tell you right now if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah, let's hear your favorite. I'm excited to hear your favorite.
My favorite, and don't get me wrong, I love all these, but I think the one I'm kind of split between them. It's There's a Light That Never Goes Out, and probably I would say I Am Not a Dog on a Chain, because that song is so, the build up, and it's like it's powerful, and I was like, man, I feel like I could do a revolution right now. like listen to this guy. I feel like Morrissey's up there like cheering us all on, saying definitely, like, don't fall into the system, like you're not a dog on a chain, you could free think, you could do whatever you want. I might be torn down for my beliefs, but I'm still gonna continue on. And I don't know, I just thought that was like a really powerful song, and the music behind it, and the vocals and the way he sings, it's just so good.
Absolutely. And what I think is cool about this is he's saying this in his like late 50s, early 60s, when he's writing, hey, like, don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in. And that's why I kind of threw that in there, because just to kind of give you some context of what's been going around about Morrissey and what Morrissey's kind of response is. And I guess I'm just looking at his Wikipedia page here. He's got a new album coming out in 2023, or if it was already released, I'm not sure. It must have been in the last couple weeks. But no, yeah, definitely. I think that is a really to say that you like solo Morrissey and later solo Morrissey too, I think is really cool. There Is a Light That Never Goes Out is the quintessential Smith song that everybody points to. Makes total sense. And like you said, you heard that song, you listened to it first, which was great. That kind of sets up the tone for a lot of the Smiths stuff in their records. My favorite, I really like what's the name of it? What is the full name of it? So I don't get it wrong. Stop me if you think you've heard this one before.
Okay, okay,
I
yeah.
thought it was Stop Me before. I didn't want to get corrected again on comments.
Yeah, no.
And I don't know why. I like I like the lyrics. Nothing's changed. I still love you. Maybe there's some going back and forth on a relationship there.
Mhm.
Stop me if you think you've heard this one before. I probably told you before how I feel, but maybe this is how I'm going to tell you again.
Yes.
And I also like the guitar. I think it sounds kind of nice and bright when you listen to it.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. I was trying to figure out what he was saying during that song too. That was one of the ones that I had to really think about. But no, I would agree with that. Oh, one thing that I wanted to bring up really quick. The song. Let me see here. Let me pull it up. How Soon Is Now?
Oh yeah.
Someone commented on the video and said, "I'm not really even a Smiths fan, but this is the best song that has ever been written." And I'm like, see, like this is the influence that they have. Like it's crazy. You don't even have to be a big fan of them, but you could appreciate the music. And I think we've said this before. I think that's the mark of a brilliant artist right there.
Yeah. And what's amazing is that I think they get credit. I think they get a lot of credit. I think there's definitely, you see the influences there, but I think they're kind of like not really all that around. Like, you don't hear about them all that often,
Right. Yeah.
And like you said, the guy said, I'm not even a Smiths fan. This is great. It is. It's good writing.
Yeah,
I am human and I need to be loved. Oh my goodness.
I love that. I wrote that down. That's one of my favorite lines. It's all these little lines that he throws in are just like so impactful when you listen to them. I mean, it's I don't know. It's just amazing, and I feel like you really connect to it. Like the song "Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now." Absolutely, I love that song. That might be my favorite. I don't know. They're all my favorite. They're all great. But Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now. I related to it so much because it's just like the line where he says, "Why do I give valuable time to people who don't care if I live or die?" And first of all, just the way he sings that is amazing.
Yes. And operatic sort of deal.
Yeah, it is. It's every time you listen to one of these songs, you're gonna get something different by the way he sings. It's not just like a normal cadence or anything. He's like his voice is like dancing over the music almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go ahead and describe it. That's really good.
It's just fantastic. But I love that line though. It's like why waste your time with people who don't really give a shit about you. Sorry, YouTube, I curse, but yeah. That's
yes, no, 100%, absolutely, 100%. It's true. And I'm like I said, I'm surprised, and I'm not surprised, but I'm happy that you like this stuff because I feel like I fed you this stuff before in different forms, and you just like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I guess I'll listen to it, but it's cool. The guy sings and there's guitars, I guess.
Like I said before, the difference between the Smiths and the National, a difference of 30 years, but they're actually sounds like they're really depressed throughout the whole thing, and the Smiths just make it more approachable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I it's been a while since I listened to that National album, but it's just even the guitars and the composition behind the lyrics, it's so dreary and like melancholy. I couldn't get into it. I'd have to be in a very low state in my mind just to get it. But I mean that's just me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I love that album. I can listen. That's one of my if I were on a desert island, that'd be like one of the albums I would bring with me. Trouble Will Find Me.
Oh my
God!
Check
out the link for that video that
yes.
the tech team is going to put in its description because it's going to give you some context for what we're saying about the Smiths, and maybe you'll be surprised too that Ice responded so positively to the Smiths because I love the National. I love the album Trouble Will Find Me. Ice didn't find it as appealing, which I can understand that absolutely 100%.
Yeah, I'll put a video card as well. I'll put it right up here right now so you guys could see it. But
video card.
Yeah, smash a video card. I want to see people listen to some of our old stuff too. That'd be pretty cool. But as you'll see if you watch that video, I was not fond of the National, but no, I love this, and I really appreciate you giving me and feeding me this this music, because I would it's one of those things that I would never listen to. See what? Okay, prior to this, I would hear someone say the Smiths, and immediately I would just think, okay, these are like some hipster like losers. I'm not gonna like this music. The people that listen to it are hipsters, whatever. But it is, I mean, it's a treat, and like I said, it's an experience listening to this music, because I don't think there's anyone. I mean, maybe now there is because they're influenced by them, but I don't think there's probably no one like them back then, right?
I don't. Yeah, they're always been like an underground kind of deal. They've always been they're alternative. It's an alternative music, you know, what you would hear on the alternative radio and magazines of the day. And it's funny because a few years ago, actually more than a few, probably like 10 years ago by now, I had a girlfriend, and I had like a whole hipster persona for a while there.
I remember that.
The thing with my hipster persona is that it's things I'm really into, but I kind of took it to the next level in terms of everything I kind of did, like oh yeah, I hate mainstream stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm a big NASCAR fan, you know. like it just like
yeah,
I have multiple aspects of my personality, and I was kind of just driving towards the one. And I remember my girlfriend at the time, her sister, was hanging out with us, and we were at a cafe, because that's what you did back then. You went to a cafe. And you know, you sat there and you drank coffee and talked, and I really liked the Smiths, and I had never seen the movie 500 Days of Summer. And I had never had a Tumblr account, but my girlfriend and her at the time and her sister were really big on Tumblr. And I remember we were talking about music, and they're like, "Who's your favorite band?" I'm like, "Well, right now I listen to the Smiths a lot. Like, I think it's probably the Smiths right now." And her sister said, "Well, everybody loves the Smiths." And I'm thinking, I said, nobody likes the Smiths. Who likes the Smiths? And it kind of pissed me off, because I thought I was onto something. that's how I was thinking. I'm like, no, man. That's what I like. I like the Smiths, because I had all their albums. I listened to all their albums. It's like everybody likes them, but they became, like you said, sort of that negative connotation modern day among our peers, with that hipster certain vibe that was put out. That's what kind of the Smiths last few years have been known for, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have judged it like that, but I mean, like, I feel like it's not like that anymore. Like, does anyone even say hipster anymore? I don't even think that's a thing. I don't even know if that's like
I don't know. I don't even know if I think they're just like, whatever happened to that hipster class that was always around? Like, are they still?
I don't know.
Still around?
I don't think so. I think maybe they grew up. I don't know. I don't think it's
they moved on. It was just a phase.
Maybe if you go to like California and hit like a local free trade coffee shop or something, maybe you'll see them there. But I mean, around the majority of the U.S., I don't think you'll see them.
Yeah, I think that they kind of seemed like they burned out for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I mean, you know, trends come and go. It is what it is. But hey, they gave us the Smiths, and they probably popularized it. So we could appreciate them for that.
Very true. That's very, very true. If you're a hipster, or you identify with hipster culture, comment below. Let us know where you're from, so we can figure out what's going on in the U.S. with the hipster map right now. Because Portland, remember the show Portlandia? That was always like a big thing for the hipsters. Portland, Austin, Texas had a lot of hipsters. I don't know if that's like still like I don't know, Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn. Yeah, places like that. It was just all kind of hipsters, like people that you know, they wear the flannels and the tight pants, and maybe like a beanie and glasses, and they're drinking like free trade coffee or whatever. That's usually the hipster class. But like you said, I don't know if they're around anymore. And if you were a previous hipster, let us know where you're at in your life now. And if you still listen to the Smiths, let us know.
Yeah, because I feel like I never was fully into the hipster culture. I definitely had hipster aspects, mostly in how I dressed and how I looked. But the music remains the same. You know, the music and the things you're into, I think, remains the same. It really has something to do with what you're listening to. Just like you're like a douchebag.
Yeah,
you're trying to, like,
you're d-bag about
it. Yeah, like that's basically kind of what I feel like I was doing. And then so I that was a phase I definitely grew out of, and that was it.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh well. Good times, but yeah, the Smiths, Morrissey, love it. Love you guys.
So we haven't done a rating in a while.
I was just thinking about that.
Our rating system, I forget what mine. I think it was on a scale of like 13.
You're just some wacky ass 13 out of 13.5 or something.
The problem was that a lot of things I rated, they really weren't rated poorly because I think I forget how the standard was, but I think it was either a high rating or a low rating. There was very few that were in the middle because of a certain standard I had, which I really can't remember. But you had like what do you have, 5 stars or 5 ice cubes or something like that?
What was it 5? Yeah, I think it was like 1 to 5 maybe. And I don't think did I do 0.5s in the middle, or was it 1 to 10?
I recall you had a 0.5, I think.
Okay.
I think you had 0.5s.
I mean we could do like 1 to 5 and then do 0.5s like increments, right? So
yeah,
if I had to rate this collection of songs that I listened to, I'm gonna say 4.5.
Oh my god! So for context, what would be your 5? What would be your 5?
Okay. And I said this before. So now 1, 2, 3, 4. So three is an average, right? It's not like it's bad. 2 is a little worse, and 1 is just awful. Like 1 is the national for me. Okay.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
5, it would literally have to move me so much where I'm like tearing up. I am like, this is the most beautiful. This is like the voice of God that I'm listening to.
Like Luke Combs for you.
Yeah. It's like it's like Luke Bryan or something, or Florida Georgia Line. Like that would hit it for me. That's a 5. But
you really liked Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Would that be a 5 for you, or would it still be like a 4.5?
No. I would say I would say that's a 4 for me. I rate this higher. I rate the Smiths higher. Yeah.
No kidding. That's this is huge. Unbelievable.
I can't understate enough like how much I really enjoyed this. But yeah, like a 5 would be tough, and that's not to like say anything bad that they didn't get a 5. I think it just for a set of songs or a song or an artist or just someone to get a 5, like it really has to move me to a point where like I can't get it out of my head, and I have to like listen to it constantly, and it impacts me very emotionally. I think that's a unicorn. Maybe we'll find it one of these days, but I don't know. Yeah. I would say this is probably going to be one of the closest that we're going to get, though.
Wow. Okay. So what would you rate Pet Sounds?
Oh boy, you're really
for context for me. I just want to know.
It's been a little while. I have to, oh my god, I'd have to give it a 3. I'd have to give it a 3. That's my personal opinion.
This is hilarious. The Smiths are a 4.5. Yes. Maybe the greatest album ever written is a 3. Would you classify it as average? I think you need a little bit more objective, like a little bit more objectivity in your rating scale. Just a twinge more, like a little bit.
Okay, all right.
Like maybe you could see how the production, or you could see that Morrissey's voice is this, whatever. Maybe just a little bit. But then again, this is your rating system. So.
Okay, yeah. So that's a big huge bombshell. Probably lost all of our subscribers right there with that. But I apologize.
That's awesome.
Oh man. Okay. Right, what would you rate it out of your 13?
So I think I'm going to scale this back. I think I need to do it on a scale of 10.
Okay.
Because I think the 10 lets me be a little bit more objective, because I do respect objectivity.
Yeah.
Now, and of course, now my scale is based on a 10. If I'm looking at 10, I'm looking at something. I'm looking at Pet Sounds. I'm looking at Brian Wilson's Smile, right?
Yeah.
1, I don't even know. I don't even know if I've ever heard anything that's a 1 in reality. I don't know. I think there's something to be gained from everything you listen to. I really have to think about something that I hated.
I'm just popped in my head right now. We should search for the worst album that like a popular person has ever made, and try to listen to that one day. I don't know what. Like the list of the worst albums or songs I've ever listened to, but I don't know. Maybe that could be. Maybe we could find some ones. We're hunting for ones there.
Yeah, for ones. Yeah, one would be tough for me. The only thing I could think is like, I don't even know because like even like I don't know, something like Milli Vanilli or like I would rate like a 3 because it's like it's fun. It's like it sounds good. You know what I mean? I don't know. Some like
Yeah.
some garbage something from the 90s like a one hit wonder.
Oh
So if
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna rate the Smiths on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the ultimate,
Yeah.
1 being I don't like it. For me, the Smiths now I'd probably say like right in the middle, like probably like a solid 5, maybe
Oh
five and
wow.
a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've liked the Smiths for a while. I like Morrissey. I like what they do. I think no, I think if you're considering that scale, 5 might be a little bit generous if we're going by the scale and the standard.
Okay. Right.
But I
Right.
think considering the influence that they've had, I think that's pretty fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I respect that, and you're right. My rating system is very subjective. It's literally based on my
Right.
emotions. Like that's
That's good. That's a good rating. We have a good balance here.
yeah. No, I think
Reality.
we do. Mine's
Yeah.
mine's subjective. Yours is definitely more objective. I think you have,
Yeah.
but you have the knowledge to be able to do that. I'm just a guy like listening to this music, right? So I think
We're all just the guy listening
I
to
know,
this
I know.
music.
You're
Come
right.
on,
You're right.
Ice.
You're right. Yeah, right. I guess I don't give myself enough credit sometimes, but
Yeah.
but no. Okay. All right. That makes sense. I'll be the subjective guy, and your 1 to 10 is objective. I like that. Okay. So a 5, possibly if you want to be generous, 5.5. Okay. I respect
Yeah.
that. I
That's more
understand.
than average.
Yeah.
That's I think average would be like a 3 for me. You know,
Okay.
and that's a 3 on your scale of 5 as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. All right, gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, I think that would be average for me. And then everything above that would be I'd have to have a good reason for something like that because like I said, the 10 in my mind objectively would be something like Pet Sounds, Sergeant Pepper,
Yeah.
something that's like, um, you know, also subjective but also objective, for different reasons, production value, whatever it might be, impact, that kind of thing. So yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty good. That sounds like a good rating system.
Yeah, I like it. I could respect that. Wow, we're doing it on the fly here. I love this. I love this. I love this show. And I love everyone listening too. I love you guys.
Love you guys. Big shout out to you guys. Fact check us on the Smiths. See what I got wrong.
Yeah, please.
Comment on what you think. What do you think about Ice's breakdown? Because I think that was pretty good. I was really surprised by it, which I'm really
Oh,
happy
thank
about.
thank you.
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, this show is called Records and Rants, and I hate to put us on the spot right now, but I know
Yes.
we didn't prepare a rant for this, but I'm trying to think of what has been happening recently that we could rant about a little bit, but I honestly can't really think of anything. I think the world's been pretty at ease lately, to be honest with you. I mean, unless you can think of something.
Well, pretty at ease, definitely. And I think this would be a good time to talk about one of the things that we've discussed BTS, we're always trying to improve ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We're always trying to evolve and try to develop. And I had suggested to you maybe an idea of a gratitude journal.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And-
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. And I know, the reason why I suggested it to you is because I think we're kind of like the same kind of guy in terms of like, well, you always think like, oh, well, my life will be good once I reach this step or once I do this.
Yeah.
And then along the way, you're kind of missing what you're doing and what you're experiencing and what you have on the way to that next step. And so it's instead of saying, okay, well, I'll be happy once I do this. And then once you get there, you realize, well, I got that, but it really was in turn to get this next thing. By
So-
putting yourself in a state of gratitude, it might be a little bit better physically and emotionally. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, so like I just started doing this. I guess I won't put all my laundry out there and say what I wrote down, but
Don't put out your laundry.
Yeah, so we don't have to do that, but I started doing it, and I understand, it really it does ground you, because when you're thinking about it and you're thinking about what you're gonna write down, what you're actually thankful for,
Right.
it really does like make you say, hey, like everything actually is good right now. It puts you in that positive mindset, because like you just said, like for me, like I'm trying to lose weight and I'm like, okay, like I'm fat now, I'm gross or whatever, and like that's all I can think about. I'm like, I gotta lose like 50 pounds and then I'll be happy. But
Right.
like you said, you do this exercise and you sit down, you really think and talk about write down what you're really grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really nice thing, and it really shows you how much you have in your life, and yeah, it's just a really nice way to realize what you have rather than always chasing something and never being satisfied.
That's absolutely true. That's it's kind of worked for me because, like you said, I kind of get overwhelmed by those thoughts. Okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to be there. What I think is really important is, you know, and the outline I shared with Ice, and he's made his own thing, is, you know, I get a notebook and I write down 3 or 5 things, whatever I feel comfortable with. But it's 3.
Yep.
And it's things I'm grateful for that are happening actively. And that could be like a big thing. Like maybe it's your job. Maybe it's the car you drive. Maybe it's spending time with your family. You know, the new apartment you got. Those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then something like, I try to like throw in something that we really overlook, like the fact that you have a warm bed, or you're able to write this stuff down, or you're able to, you know, like you said, lift weights in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of like to focus on the idea, okay, well, I'm grateful for all the things that are happening that is going to lead me to this next step that I'm trying to attain in my life. And I'm really grateful for the fact that I already have it, because you could talk about, and I know we have some negative thoughts about this manifesting stuff from your that we've discussed on the show previously.
I know. I'm just
manifest. Good.
No, I think I'm too autistic about it, and I'm like, you know, but if I think about it, trying to manifest something is, at least from my point of view, is it's helping you get there, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, like if I just sat there and said I'm going to manifest myself getting skinny, like it's not going to happen. But I think if you put yourself in the mindset of like you're going to get fit, and it just pushes you more to do that, I guess. That's just my opinion. That's how I see it.
That's good. No, yeah, because I think you were kind of with a militant manifester previously.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah, right. And so the thing is manifesting is one thing. You know, manifesting is, I've heard somebody say that just praying for atheists. And, you know, Jesus said in the Bible himself, you know, pray as if it already happened. So these things are real. They're happening, you know. And it's not the fact that, okay, I want Burger King right now, so I'm gonna manifest Burger King. No, it has nothing to do with that, right?
But that's what my militant what'd you call it? Militant
manifester.
Yeah, militant manifester. That's kind of what it was like with them. It was like you could literally physically will things into existence, kind of thing. And I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, no, yeah, that's what it was like.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think when it comes down to manifesting and being realistic about manifesting, and, you know, however you do it, if you manifest, if you pray, if you're you do a vision board, whatever it is, those things, those goals, you're going to have little things that happen along your way that are going to either inspire you, you're going to get a new idea, you're going to come up with a new exercise, you're going to think, you know what, I'm going to look for a new workout on YouTube. Maybe you didn't think about that before. You know, that's all part of the experience that's happening while you're, quote, manifesting or whatever it is. That's part of the experience. And the other thing is too, is with the gratitude journal is the philosopher, spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle, he wrote a book, The Power of Now. One of his things is that because he's a guy that was always depressed, could never see the good in anything, and finally just learned to turn off his ego, learn to turn off that inner voice and kind of examine it from a different perspective.
Sure.
One of his exercises is always, what is wrong right now? Like in this second, in this moment, what is wrong right now? And usually 99% of the time, at least, the answer is always, well, nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that ties into our journal as well.
I like that. I feel like the more that you explain this, the more wisdom about this you dump on me, the more I could get into it. And I think this gratitude journal is like a huge step towards getting into that space, because I feel like I have the drive, I guess, to better myself sometimes. I mean, the motivation isn't there all the time, of course. I don't think it's there for anyone all the time, but getting into this mindset, this more positive thinking, I think first of all, it'll make me a happier person. Not that I'm like depressed all the time, but you know, you have your bad days sometimes because you're worrying about whatever. Sure. But I think something like this will help a lot.
No, definitely. You know, like I said, it gives you the ability to appreciate the process. You know, because the life is the process. It's not just like, okay, I got to this step. What do I have to do next? You know, it's all those little things that are in between.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree. So another thing, I appreciate you for I'm very grateful for you showing me this.
Yeah.
the Smiths as well.
So there you go.
Yeah.
We found out Ice's gratitude journal entry for tomorrow morning.
Yep. Yeah, that's the first thing when I wake up.
I feel pretty honored about that whole thing. So yeah, it's just so I can't believe Ice gave the Smiths 4.5 out of 5, which is huge.
Yeah, I know. I seriously enjoy them. So I'm definitely gonna be buying a record by them. And like I said, BTS. We could talk about which one I'll purchase.
I can get all of them. What the heck? There's only 4 of them.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, there's 4 of them. So yeah, who cares? I'll build my collection.
Catalog.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I'll build it up.
Might as well do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You know what I'm grateful for, Dixon?
What's that?
Our fans who have stuck with us and have watched to the end of this video. You know, actually, if you watch this end of this video, drop a comment below. Yeah. Let us know maybe what you're grateful for, maybe your favorite song, whatever it is. Just drop a comment below, and just let us know what you thought about the episode, what you think about the Smiths, anything. We'd really appreciate it.
We see, we feature our comments whenever we get a comment. We feature them, so you could be, like we said before, exposed to possibly dozens, maybe hundreds of people tuning into the show. So just say hi, drop a line, like you said, drop your favorite song, whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be looking at them, and we will talk about them on the next show.
This is actually a pretty good idea, because if you want to have Ice review something like that, because I guarantee you he hasn't listened to it. Whatever it is,
if it's not Dave Matthews and Florida Georgia Line, I probably haven't listened to it.
Whatever it is, drop it in, because I guarantee he hasn't heard it, and we can do a rundown on that and see what happens.
Yeah, that perfect. I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, all right, guys, it was a fun episode. We'll be back next week with another one. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm sure it's going to be a fun one.
Looking forward to it. Peace.
Yep. See ya.